What's good, Detroit Sports Nation? I am Eric Vincent, your host here at the DSN News Desk. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your time and support. Fresh off a 130-122 Detroit Pistons victory tonight against the Brooklyn Nets, one of the hottest teams in the NBA. And considering how the Pistons have been playing as one of the coldest teams in the NBA, this was an extremely encouraging win for quite a few reasons tonight from this team. They got this win on the road, got a lot of good balance from the scoring department, got some pretty good play defensively, and they even survived a 40-point outburst from Kyrie Irving tonight. He was hitting some unbelievable shots, really making it tough down the stretch, for the Detroit Pistons, and they were able to withstand it and pull out with a victory. And this game came with a lot of updates that Piston fans have been waiting for, because things have been pretty ugly in terms of watchability for the Detroit Pistons, letting up 150 points to the Bucks, blowing leads that they've been blowing, playing as horrendous defensively as they have been, looking out of sync and frustrated with each other on the floor offensively. This was one of the more encouraging games that they've played all season. And it started with Dwayne Casey because people have been begging for changes strictly from him. And we saw a little bit of that tonight. The Pistons came in this game with a new lineup change, another lineup change. You know, they have the usual, Jaden Ivey, Bojan Bogdanovic, Jalen Duren, but Saddiq Bey, who played extremely well tonight, we'll talk about Saddiq in a little bit. Saddiq was a starter, and Alec Burks was a starter for the Detroit Pistons, which means Killian Hayes and Isaiah Stewart, who's been a mainstay in the starting rotation for the Detroit Pistons, actually came off the bench tonight. Now, it was partially because he was reeling from an injury and recovering back, but maybe this could be something they stick with. Maybe this is something to pay attention to, because what we saw from the Pistons was them getting off to an amazing start offensively. Opened up with a 30-27 lead in the first quarter. They were very efficient scoring the basketball. They were very quick and had a lot of continuity in terms of how they shared the ball and got open shots for one another. I think that really starts with a big chunk of credit that goes to Jaden Ivey, because while we've talked about Jaden Ivey kind of having a bit of an up and down, spurts of the season, to me this looked like the most in-control game that he's played as the primary decision maker for the Detroit Pistons, because this is a game where he didn't have Killian Hayes next to him in the starting lineup to take some pressure off of him as the assist man. He didn't have Cade Cunningham next to him. This was Jaden Ivey's floor to basically be the man. And he owned it, man. He played extremely well. I was extremely impressed with what he saw, or with what he did tonight, because I don't think this season we're going to see a bunch of 30-point outbursts from Jaden Ivey. That's not his game. The best thing that he does, obviously, is driving and attacking the rim, creating shots for others, creating contact and finishing at the rim, obviously being athletic with his dunks. But he's still working on other things and fine-tuning with his scoring, working on his mid-range game, his long-range three-pointer. He's working on those things. But I think in terms of his assists and his playmaking and being a floor general, this looked like one of the more confident games that Jaden Ivey has played all season long. I mean, he didn't light it up from the box score. 16 points, 8 assists, 3 turnovers, but he was very in control with how he was setting up his teammates. He is really developing some amazing chemistry with Jalen Duren, someone else we're going to talk about in a second, doing an awesome job of driving to the hole, getting him wide open dunks in the dunker spot on the block, setting him up for lobs. They've done a really good job of using that tandem between the two rookies and them both finding ways to find each other and be productive in their most advantageous position. They play great pick and roll basketball together. They're really finding each other's continuity, and I'm loving the way that it's developing right now with this team. Again, we were just talking about Jalen Duren, 17 points, 7 to 8 from the field, 7 rebounds. The dude's a star, man. He's a star. He is an absolute machine as the youngest player in the NBA, and he continues to show that his ceiling is going to get higher and higher and higher. I love what I'm seeing from him now, but just envisioning what he's going to be with Cade Cunningham when he's back on the floor, Cade will be a double-digit assist man when he's back on the floor with Jalen Duren in the starting lineup. And, it's not crazy to say that Jalen Duren could be a 15, 20-point average scorer, depending on the looks and easy baskets that he gets. If Cade is still as good as drawing attention as he has been and getting easy lobs and dunks for a guy like Jalen Duren, if he was able to get 20-point nights for a Marvin Bagley, Jalen Duren is going to feast with Cade Cunningham next to him in the starting lineup. I cannot wait to see that tandem unfold, man. Saddiq Bey, we got good Saddiq today. We keep talking about the up and down with him, and this was good Saddiq. 25 points, 10 and 19 from the floor, 5 and 8 from 3. And Saddiq, I want the coaches to get this in his head. Whenever Saddiq Bey when he catches the ball in a half-court set, whenever he has to dribble the ball more than 3 times, it seems like disaster is always striking. Saddiq is at his best when he's in a catch-and-shoot position or if he's just catching and dribbling in a straight line to get to the hoop for an easy finish at the rim. When he's isolating and stepping back and doing all that extra like fake James Harden stuff, it's hard to watch. It's not pretty with Saddiq Bey. He's at his best when he's making quick snap decisions and how to score with the basketball. And we saw a lot of that tonight. We saw Jaden Ivey getting him some good spot-up looks. Alec Burks, who was in the lineup with him as well, who got 20 points. Some of his efficient shooting, I think, opened up the floor for Saddiq Bey. Bojan Bogdanovic, who didn't shoot well tonight with 4 of 15 from the field and 11 points. I think his threat as a sniper that he is from the long range, I think opens those opportunities up for a guy like Saddiq. And we saw him take advantage of that. We saw the playmakers and the facilitators take advantage of that. And it paid off in getting this victory for the Detroit Pistons tonight. The bench played extremely well. They played extremely well. 16 points off the bench for Killian Hayes. Really played strong down the stretch in, creating distance for the Pistons to lead and keep that lead against the Nets. Played really good defense down the stretch as well. Because Kyrie did a lot of his damage earlier, the first 3.5 quarters. He wasn't the super clutch, super dangerous dynamo fourth quarter Kyrie that we've seen in Cleveland or earlier in his days with the Nets. It wasn't the same kind of performance with Kyrie tonight. I think a lot of that goes to the defense that was played by the Pistons. They did a lot of switching on him. They made it difficult, challenging each shot that he put up, and they did a good job, I think. Again, the bench really gets a lot of credit for that. Hamidou Diallo, who I think has been extremely underrated. 12 points, 6 and 9 from the field. Hami's normally not a guy you run plays for, but it seems like they're trying to get him more active in some of those play calls because he's played a lot of time at the starting 5 position, especially when Isaiah Stewart was out. He's been setting a lot of off-ball picks and on-ball picks as well because he can roll to the dunker spot and they find easy ways to get him dunks right at the rim, which is what he's best at. He also creates his own scoring opportunities off of defense, trying to create steals, just being a pest all over the place. He got 4 steals tonight, which is kind of like his game. They have the Jose Alvarado type defense with the Pelicans. Diallo kind of does a little bit of that as well. And he has some dynamite dunks that go on the top with it. So Hami has been playing fantastic. In just 19 minutes of ball, I'm really impressed with what he did. Isaiah Stewart, we got to talk about as well. Isaiah Stewart, 11 points, 5 rebounds, a +6 in a plus-minus department. I've always said I'm okay with Beef Stew starting at the 4. I don't like him starting at the 5. I like him starting next to Jalen Duren, but I think I like him even more coming off the bench. I just think his identity and how he plays as a feisty big that really isn't offensively sound yet. Again, we've seen him come and go with his 3-point shot. He didn't take any 3-point shots tonight. So a lot of his shots were kind of just what is created from other people. He doesn't really have a lot of moves to go to on his own. He's a scrappy, feisty defender that feeds off of the energy that either he creates with his hype and his gritty play or the energy that's created from his teammates around him in their playmaking. To me, I don't think that's fitted for this starting lineup. You already have gritty guys. You have a Jalen Duren who's amazing at switching defensively 1 through 5 and protecting the paint on his own as the center point big for this team. I don't think you need to have Isaiah Stewart next to him to complement that. You need more shooters to complement that game. You need more scorers to complement his game. And you saw what that looked like tonight. Like, be clear. Bogey was 4-15, did not hit a 3 tonight. If he hits 4-15, if he hits four or five more of those shots, Pistons blow the Nets out. If he gets a couple of those threes to fall, they win by double digits. So, those are the things that this team needs. They need better spacing. They don't need, I think they've predicated too much of their development on what beef stew looks like offensively. And I don't think that's what they need to focus extremely hard on. They played well tonight as a team. They were able to play well off of each other. It obviously helps that Kevin Durant didn't play tonight, and I ain't going to complain about that because they had enough to deal with. I mean, they put a lot of pressure on the rest of the team at the best they could, and, it served them well. They got a lot of good balance offensively. They played much better defensively in creating turnovers and rotating well and rebounding as well. And I think that's what helped serve and create this W tonight for the Pistons. They needed it, man. They needed it because, again, it's been a tough watch this season. It's been a lot of unwatchable basketball from this team, and to see them get a victory against one of the hottest teams in the NBA, one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, got to tip your hat to it, man. Shout out to the Pistons. Talk to me in the comment section. I'd love to hear your feedback about tonight's game. What did you think about the Pistons' 130-122 victory against the Nets? I would love to hear from you. Talk to me in the comment section. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Help us bump up and get our way to 6,000 subscribers, our next milestone here on our YouTube page. Help us support and make that happen. We would greatly appreciate it. Tap in on our social media as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the above. Search and follow Detroit Sports Nation and tap in with me as well at I am Eric Vincent. Thank you all for being here. I greatly appreciate your time. I'll see you again soon with another update right here from the DSN News Desk. Peace.